Hey there guys, today I'm going to be showing you how to make this minifigure. This minifigure is for Valentine's Day. He does have a slot in his back. This is for Valentine's Day cards for my 10-year-old's Valentine's Day party in 5th grade. So I'm going to be taking you through just a brief tutorial of how I made this minifigure with 100% recycled, reused materials, except for $3 worth of paint. We spent about $3 at Walmart on some paint. Other than that, this guy was 100% free with stuff that we had laying around the house. So I want to show you, just take you on a brief tour. Like this video if you like this video, and be sure to subscribe, and I'll be bringing you guys other DIYs. I do lots of Dollar Tree hauls, some cheap tips, videos, baby things, all kinds of great things here on my channel. Comment below and let me know what you'd like to see me do next, and I hope you enjoy this DIY. God bless! Hi there guys, welcome back. I want to show you something that I'm putting together for my 10-year-old today. We always do a pretty custom Valentine's Day box. This year he wants, first he said life size, but now he wants, oh I don't know, like this big. He wants a Lego man. Originally he wanted it to look like him, and then he said he wanted it to look like Dan TDM, and then he wanted it just Lego Minecraft, and I think maybe we're back to making it look like Dan TDM. The logistics of it, I'm not exactly sure, like those minute details. He's going to be the one to decorate it, okay? And but what I'm going to show you today is some of the components I'm using to build that shape of the Lego minifigure Valentine's Day box. So first of all, some of the parts that I'm using, we're making this out of as many recycled parts as possible. I don't feel like for a Valentine's Day box you should have to go to the store and spend copious amounts of money. The first thing I'm using, this was, I wish I'd shown you this before I cut it apart, but I kind of just decided to do this video. But this was a tissue box. If you can see, it was a Disney princess tissue box. And what I did was, obviously I cut the top of it down, and then I cut it in half. And now each half was, it was a bit too big. Let me show you exactly how wide these are. Okay, so these are just parts. I'm gonna show you what all they're really being used for, but these, I just want to show you the parts list first. Okay, so a 1 Puffs tissue box. These, if you have young ones, because I have a 7-month-old in addition to my 10-year-old, these are from Gerber baby cereal. We're reusing them. These are going to be the minifigure legs, because I think the shape is just spot on with the bulge from the minifigure hips there and going down to the feet. So these are going to be minifigure legs. If you don't have a young child and you did have to buy these, I mean, I would encourage you to just find a box that's this general size and shape. If the bulge isn't there, whatever, it's fine. But I like these because they were identical. I think that's important for your minifigure legs, and like I say, the shape was just spot on for me. And this was not actually from a paper towel holder, although you could certainly, I mean, you can tell it's almost the exact size as a paper towel holder, but this was actually from a gift wrap tube. Again, I wanted it to be exact same width. We're going for symmetry on this. So right now, ingredients only, trying to stay on track. Gift wrap holder, or you could use paper towel rolls. And then for this part here, this was obviously a Greek yogurt container. Sorry that I've done so many slices and dices on these things. I didn't plan on doing this video, so I just thought it would really, I didn't even think about it. I should always think about it when I'm doing crafty things, showing you guys. So a Greek yogurt container with the lid removed. And then this is actually, any size box like this would work. This is from a baby food. I'm not even going to go into the details about it. It's from baby food. And it's a box, and this is going to be the body. And then I think I may end up using this Parents' Choice rice cereal box too. I know I'm going to need some more parts. So this is just the base, but we'll get into exactly what I'm doing with all of the parts right now, okay? Okay, the first thing I did was to lay out all my parts and see if I was going to use these as feet. Before I cut them down, I put the thing that, well, it was already together, and you can see how much wider the base is. Yeah, that's not good. You see that little extra there? Minifigures don't look like that. Their legs and their feet are the exact same size. So I cut this down the middle in order to overlap these parts and shorten the width of this box. It's kind of hard to show you with one hand, but I'm just going to overlap them and make it smaller this way because it was too wide. The foot was too wide, and so in order to make it smaller, I just cut it down the center and I'm overlapping it. You can see this one, I laid down a bead of hot glue, and then I pressed this together, and then there was a lip here that I thought, no, that's going to end up coming off and the whole thing's going to come apart. And this is already a shiny cardboard anyway, so the hot glue didn't want to adhere really well. So I put another bead of hot glue down there, and then I actually took this little piece of my Greek yogurt container and I swiped it down there. I think like if you were caulking something in your bathroom and trying to make it watertight. And I think I'm going to do the same thing down this side, or at least add a bead of hot glue here, because this lip is kind of sticking up. And then I'm going to do the same thing to this piece. Okay, I want to show you guys with both hands then exactly how I put this box piece back together. It's pretty simple, but I actually drew a line here exactly where I needed to line this up. I'm just taking that much off. You see, this was this wide, and now I'm going to make it this wide. You understand the reasoning. So I'm just going to take a bead of hot glue, run it down there, hurry up and put this back together before it cools. Okay, so now it's stuck together, but that's not really much of a permanent. It's just underneath there. That's not really not a whole lot of permanence to that. So what I'm going to do, you can see how this lip here is kind of stuck up. I'm going to take this hot glue and run it right along the edge. And then take a piece of plastic and smooth it out over there. Just like you would caulking or something. Because I don't want a big bead there, but I want it to be smooth. I want it to be flush. And now I'm just going to do the same thing to the front. And then once that dries a bit, I'm going to do the same thing to the inside. Just put kind of a generous amount of hot glue on. Take your piece of plastic and smear it on there. That's how you save your fingerprints. Same thing down here. There we go. And so now I have oh, I skipped the inside bottom of this piece. Generous amount. Take your piece of plastic and just drag off the extra and make sure it's really smoothed on there. Kind of like, you know, if you were to Mod Podge something, you would want it to be really saturated in glue. This is all going to be covered with paint, so you're not going to see any of this anyway. But it's much smoother now. And I have 2 appropriately sized feet. I hope I didn't make this one too wide, but I'll be cutting these down to make them nice and even so that it sets evenly. And you can see the feet are as wide as the legs now, which is what I was wanting, but I could put something inside here. I think I'm going to do that. I think I'll put some rocks inside here maybe. It's a good idea. Just to give it a little bit extra weight. Okay guys, so I put the rocks in this, but I was already thinking I was going to have something to make the feet more sturdy on the back. With this having rocks on it, it's just going to totally crush the feet. So there's no way that I could do this without making stability back here. So I have this other box here, and the problem is it's wider than the feet. So it has 2 flaps identical on each side. What I think I can do is if I cut these off, nice even straight line. I think it'd be easier to make the straight line now. I'm trying to cut little pieces later. Okay, because this is about the height that I need for the foot. And then it has this little lip, so I'm just going to glue this inside here, but it's too wide, so I'm going to have to trim this down some. Figure out about where I want it. The exact science here. You could measure this if you want, you know, measure twice, cut once. Or you can eyeball it like me. So I'm going to glue the slip inside here. And then it's going to add that extra stability on the back of the foot. Okay, I just want to show you guys real quick how to make the body. Obviously this was square and you're probably thinking Lego minifigures aren't square in the middle. That's okay, I know that too. So what I did, it was square, you know, flush like this side. I had my Parents' Choice rice cereal box. I just cut the little panel. This is like a thinner cardboard, so whatever you use for this needs to be like a thinner style cardboard. But something obviously maybe the same thickness as this, just so that they look a bit more cohesive. I'm going to line this up to where the side is just in the middle. And as soon as it's lined up, I will fold the edge over to have kind of a line marked. This was easier when the other side wasn't taped. Okay, I'm just going to fold it all the way down. You're just going to score each side. Give it kind of a rough score just on the box. And then you can lay this down, and if you have a scoring tool, you know, run that along it. I'm going to use the edge of a pair of scissors here. So this is going to be on the table, and then I just run this along here to get a nice clean line. You could use just about anything that's smooth, but a pair of scissors works really well. So now I have a nice scored edge. I'm going to do the same thing with this side. And then once both sides are scored, I taped the top on to just allow kind of a hinge, and then you're going to bring it out and form the shape that you want. And you can see there's going to be a little gap here for now. That's okay. We're going to put something over that to where it'll be flush in the front. But this is just to give that basic triangle shape. So you have a flat panel, score the edges, tape it to the top as a hinge, and then pull it out. And then that's when you're going to glue this flap down so that you have this nice triangular shape. I don't know, it's just a trapezoid. It's not really a triangle. Obviously there's 4 sides, so just want to show you guys how to do that basic shape. Alright guys, I have been hard at work on this thing. Baby is in the background here. Say hi, Israel. Let mama talk to him about this Lego man. Okay, so I've been hard at work on this thing. I tell you, okay, so you saw how I put the feet together. I just glued these right on top. There's rocks inside here. I have used hot glue, and I also used a stronger adhesive. The box here, of course, you saw how I did that and how I made it a triangular shape. Now Adello did decide that he wanted, instead of this to be a block head, a Minecraft guy, that he'd make him a regular Lego man. So this is a 22-ounce formula can that is on top, and underneath here Lego people have a little bit of a neck, and the perfect shape for that was that yogurt container that I had. So I cut the bottom off of the yogurt container and glued it on there. I'm probably going to do the exact same thing for the little nub that's on the top, because Lego men have a nub on the top and on the neck. Okay, the paper towel arms, I did a couple creative slices and was able to create a bend in those. I could definitely try to detail that. I'll have to get another little paper towel, but I'll detail for you here in a bit exactly how I put the bend in the arms. And then at the top, I had to create shoulders, because Lego men don't just have flat arms at the top. They actually have shoulders that are rounded. So I cut slits all the way around and folded them inward, gluing them one on top of another, just folding them inward until I created that shape on both sides. And then I had to slot them and add them to the top, but just make yours longer and just slot what, you know, your pre-existing arm. Okay, the hands have been in the works for several days now. Israel. This is the container of Lay's stacks that I cut apart and actually cut this shape, and I kept holding it up until I thought that the size was right, and then I just duplicated a second one. But this piece of plastic comes from Lay's Stacks, and you can see there's a curve in the back part of the hand because Lego men, their hands curve in like where their pinkies would be, where the hands would normally get smaller. So yeah, this is what we have so far. I still have to glue the top little peg piece onto the top of his head. And then I still, I'm not happy with the legs being so flat in the front here. Like around, well, for lack of a better way to explain it, around the crotch area. There should be like a half circle that goes all the way across there. So I think I'm going to make one out of toilet paper rolls. I'm just going to cut a toilet paper roll in half and glue it right on there. And I think that that's going to work because it's really going to bother me if his legs are just straight into his abdomen, into his torso there. So anyway, this is where we're at right now. And I'm just going to spray paint the whole thing, maybe one solid color. And Dello is decorating all of this tonight. His party's tomorrow, people. We have been so busy. So anyway, here it is for now. Okay guys, so I got the toilet paper rolls and I actually ended up doing something different with them. I took a toilet paper roll and I cut out just this small section. I didn't exactly, originally I was going to cut these in half, but these are kind of small paper towel rolls, or toilet paper rolls. I thought if I cut that in half, it's going to be way too small. So I just cut a small section out of it. And if I line it up perfectly, I just think it's the perfect size. But it's wider than one leg is, which is good though. If I can, maybe I can just get that to stay there for a second and basically show you. I'm going to end up overlapping these and it'll create that trademark little bend there before you get to the legs, because Lego people's legs just don't come down like that. So I don't know, I'm going to have to do something on the side. I may just put a piece of tape there. Just to make a flat edge. I guess I could take like maybe a piece of cardboard. I could make an end cap out of this piece of cardboard that I cut out and tape it onto there. That's probably what I'll do. So you'll see that all put together here in just a second. Okay guys, so I just cut this little semicircle out of the leftover part that I'd cut out of the roll, and I taped it on the inside just to hold it in place long enough for glue to dry. And everywhere where I've had little cracks and things, I've kind of just been doing like what you would do with caulking, like putting down a bead of glue and then coming in with this other glue stick and just wiping off the extra and filling in all the little cracks and things like that, because I think that's what would lead to it coming apart. I don't want this to come apart on my side, so I'm just filling in all the little cracks and things with glue. At this point, like I say, the same method that you would use to caulk something. Just lay down your bead of glue. I'm using another glue stick. You can see all this glue stuck all over here. And just coming in and swiping off the extra and making kind of, you know, a smooth fill for any of the little cracks and things like that. So I've got to get these shoulders better in place. See, I'm trying to explain to you exactly how I cut these little strips, and then I just started folding them in to make a shoulder, and then I cut a slit in each side so that it would set on top here. My little man wants more little puffs, so I'm gonna have to feed him his lunch. Anyway, so that it would set on top here like this one, and then I'm going to glue it and try to fill in that gap between the body and the shoulder there. So alright, more work. Okay guys, sorry you can hear splashing bubbles in the background. Baby had lunch and he's watching a little show. Okay, so I'm just showing you, I filled in a lot of these gaps with some of the glue, and I glued this other little shoulder on, and I think he's in pretty good shape now to probably start. I thought about just spray painting him, but there's so many different, I mean, there's tape, there's slick box, there's this box with this paint on it, there's plastic, there's metal, there's so many different surfaces. The paint's going to adhere really differently on all of them, and I thought we were missing a hand there for a minute. So I think that I need to make it just one cohesive surface first, and then that's also going to help to make it look a lot smoother and to make sure that my paint sticks well. So I didn't just get hungry. This is not actually cottage cheese. I've mixed up flour and water to make a paste here. I probably put in equal parts. I don't know. It's probably supposed to be more water than flour, but I need this to dry really quickly. We have to decorate this tonight. So this is about a cup of water and a cup of flour, if I had to guess. I just mix it until it's a really thin, you know, paste. And then I have a stack of napkins. I don't have any newspaper in here right now, and I think that this is going to help me to cover more surface area. And the napkin is so pliable that I'll be able to really go around some of these little curves and corners. So I'm just going to be dipping this right in there. Super messy job, so I'll be taking off my jewelry for that. Yeah, just applying this on here. So okay, napkins, flour and water paste to paper mache this guy from head to toe, working around all the corners and creases. So that's how you'll see him next, or at least part of the way there. Alright guys, sorry about all the background noise again. But I have the front done here, and I've just been going through and trying to smooth this down. Want it as smooth as possible. Sure, like, you know, it's auto body work almost. You're laying all of this foundation for a really smooth finish. So I only have the first half of him done right now, you can see, but he's already more uniform in color now, so we know, you know, if it takes one coat of paint in one area, it's going to take one coat everywhere. Now I did realize after I did this, I still have to saw in where the kids are going to put their cards, because this is a Valentine's Day box. So on the back I'm going to saw in a spot, because I mean, chances are Delo's going to want to keep this in his room. He has a whole Lego station afterwards, so I don't want to saw it into the front, and I don't want to saw a slot into the head. I'm gonna flip it around on the back and saw a little slot where the kids can actually stick their Valentines, and I'm gonna have to make that like a flap that comes all the way down or something, so that we can get them out without totally dismantling this minifigure afterwards. So anyway, but I've just been ripping these napkins in half right down the middle here, dipping them in here, rubbing off the excess with my fingers, just like hold it up with one hand and then take the other hand and do it like a scissor motion and pull off all the excess. I did get a little bit on the counter there, and then I'm just laying it, you know, in strips, and with your hands following all of the little curves and lines on him. So anyway, we're halfway done with the paper mache. Baby's getting a little antsy, so hopefully I can get this part wrapped up before I have to go get Della from school. I really would love for this to be drying so that we can lay some paint on this guy soon. So, alright. Okay, he's been totally paper mache now at this point. His head's looking very marshmallow. I brought him outside hoping that the sun and the bit of wind would maybe help him to dry. I think he looks a lot more Lego now that he's uniform in color. I still don't have the top on his head. I gotta do something about that before, I don't know, I guess it doesn't have to be before we paint him, but he needs a top to his head for sure. But we gotta get started on painting this sucker. I mean, Valentine's Day party's tomorrow. Anyway, so here he is now. Della and I are gonna start painting. Yeah, we'll see what he looks like here in a bit. Della said he wants him, you wanna come tell him what you want it to look like? He's gonna tell you guys his idea for the Lego figure. So tell him what color everything's gonna be. Here, go on down there.
Down there. Okay. So then he's gonna have just a pretty basic Lego head, yellow with the smiley face, a red shirt and blue pants, yellow hands, yellow head.
So very much like your basic first minifigure. We're going old school. Throwing it back, right? It must be break time. Time to eat gummy bears or something. What's going on, Della? Okay, you can see him really coming together now. We have paint all over our hands, don't we, Della?
Oh, I washed my hands.
Oh, okay. I haven't washed mine yet. Della brought up a good point that his hands are starting to come apart more than what they should. So I'm gonna, once he's dry and we're pretty well finished with him, I'm gonna string a piece of fishing line or embroidery thread, something real thin, you know, almost transparent, through his hands and tighten that. Alright guys, he's totally finished. It's the morning of the party, right, Della?
Yeah.
I cut another yogurt container in half, and I kind of, well, I could have done that smoother, but I kind of caulked some hot glue around the edge here to adhere that. I painted it yellow. Now I pulled up the ratios on, pulled up a picture of the original minifigure just so I could get the ratios right, to see that his eyes were about in line with the knob on his head, and they set, the bottom of it set right at the midway point here, and Originally I had his smile going up a bit more, but my son came in the room and he pointed out that, yeah, it wasn't exactly where it needed to be. So he and I fixed that, and he added some more yellow paint in the corners to take that off, which was great. Yeah, and then we just took kind of like a little bitty brush and went into all the corners, the crevices and stuff. We used a sponge brush to paint this, and we did have to really press in some areas. In some ways I was glad that I used the napkins to paper mache it. In some ways I wish I had used newspaper. It's a very soft paper mache. If you use napkins, it didn't get as hard as what newspaper would have. I'm super glad that I used some kind of paper mache, because you can tell like everything looks smoother, like one piece. If I hadn't paper mache this, if I had just painted those paper towel rolls, you would be able to see every little bend increase. So it's super important that you put something over. But yeah, I think newspaper would have been a little bit smoother, but this dried fairly quickly. I literally finished it, went to pick him up from school, went to Walmart, we bought paint, and came home and painted it. So it didn't take any time to dry. It was a pretty thin coat. I evened up the line on his pants here. Now I do think maybe I could have went up and made a little bit of blue there, because in the minifigures it has the bump and then it has a bit more blue, but I think he looks great, especially for his purposes. On the hands, Della brought up a good point that they kept spreading. I made him out of a lace stack can, which is not circular to begin with. So I bent him into a circular shape, and then, you know, he came out about here. And the more relaxed he got, the farther his hands were spreading apart. So I actually took 2 pieces of tape. One piece I taped on the other side, so this is not sticky. This is tape on top of tape. One long piece, and then a shorter piece in the middle, and then take the long piece and just basically taped him where he needed to be. That way you don't see the tape, it's clear, but his hands are held more where they need to be. And then on the back, I used a steak knife to start cutting a slot, and then I used my kitchen shears to cut the rest of the slot in his back, and it was incredibly difficult to do. Looking back, I might have done that differently also, just because it was so hard and I was trying not to tear him up. So yeah, I don't know if you have any questions about him, I'd be happy to answer some. I hope that you have fun building your own, I don't know, what is he, about 2 feet tall minifigure. Use my hand in relation to his size. He's a pretty big guy. So yeah, I hope that he holds up well for the kids with the Valentines, and I guess that's about it.